This is what I would call a perfect season finale. This show did its best to convey and merge all the storylines, which is incredible considering that there were lots of characters but we only had 6 episodes. It really met my expectations, and I love to see another season of it, but that's a topic we'll discuss later. Today we'll talk about episode 6, the season finale, and discuss it. In this episode, we see Becca's confrontation with Dany. His secrets are all over the place as Becca met Lena and decided to introduce Ethan to Ollie. Dany's face was priceless when he saw his children spending some time together. Honestly, the boys are so cute, they're really sweet to one another, and they both are happy to finally meet. I'm glad neither of them caused a scene and instead they got closer immediately. Becca no longer trusts Dany since she discovered his huge secret on her own. But well, that's not the only thing he kept as a secret. We have Evie, right? She calls Dany as he was in the middle of an argument with Becca and asks for help. She lies by saying that her father has learned about her pregnancy and she's in danger. Dany doesn't want to go there, but he has no choice. But thankfully, we see him asking Becca to go with him and he tells her everything. Meanwhile, Evie is quite happy. She confesses that the baby is not Pete's and her father is visibly confused and disappointed. After seeing her enjoying the father's disappointment, I think I figured it out. She did it to hurt his father. Well, that's not the only motive she had, obviously, but I think it was a major motivation for her. The father's reaction to her way of getting pregnant earlier and his cruel words after she loses her baby tore her apart. As you may know, she was depressed after losing her baby, and I think the father made things worse for her. It's like he unleashed the beast inside her. I honestly didn't even understand why Evie changed until I saw her confrontation with her father. Now you may ask why she was that rude to Pete. I think that's because she saw him as an obstacle that prevented her being a mother as she always wanted. On the other hand, she saw Dany and Becca being happily married and they had a sweet child. I think she wanted Becca's life and did everything to replace her. I never imagined this show would get this deep, but it did and I'm grateful. At some point, the show turned into something else. It showed us a woman who hit rock bottom and how she dragged everyone with her. Evie and Pete were really cute in the beginning, but now they're in a state where they cannot be easily stopped. I think the show was really successful to show how people might change drastically after experiencing something they haven't been expecting at all. Speaking of which, let's talk about Pete, because in this episode he loses it. In the morning, he sees the gun he stole from Dany, and I think he wants to return it. But then he learns Dany and Becca are not home, and he immediately understands that they went to see Evie. He gets really upset and decides to find his wife. After he arrives at her parents' house, her father says that he won't stop him from doing anything he wants since he believes she deserves it. I mean, Pete looks really angry, and I can't understand how a father would be willing to put his own daughter at risk just because he thinks she's wicked according to his faith. Thankfully, her mother convinces him to save Evie, so he goes after Pete. Pete finds Evie, Dany, and Becca in the cabin, but they're not alone. The dangerous man who threatened Pete and Dany is after Dany, and he wants to kill him. Thankfully, Evie's father shoots him and prevents further trouble. But the actual threat is Pete, because he's not himself. It's like he became a totally different person, and he definitely wants revenge since he's heartbroken. One thing leads to another, and Evie starts running away. Pete and the others go after her. Pete shoots Dany, and he confronts Evie. She admits that she doesn't love him anymore. And while he's vulnerable, she shoots him. After the incident, she suddenly realizes what she has done and regrets it. At least that's what I think. In the end, we see that both Evie and her father are arrested. Thankfully, both Dany and Pete are alive, but I think they're traumatized by the recent incident. Just before Evie gets into the car, she smiles at Dany, which is kinda creepy to be honest. Overall, I believe this show was incredible, and I hope we could get another season. I'll definitely check if it's possible or not and make a video about it. Now tell me what you think about this show. What do you think about Evie and her state of mind? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Fame to show your support. It means a lot. Thank you for watching. See you soon.